ask me to do any trapeze when you see, because I don't have it anymore.
Which major Spider-Man stunt did Zendaya film only to have it cut from the movie? Today, we're taking a look behind the scenes at what it was like for Zendaya to film so many of her own stunts. Which trapeze stunt gone wrong led to a very awkward moment between Zendaya and Zac Efron in The Greatest Showman? Which film did Zendaya swing from over 100 feet up?
There is one thing we got to do, this big Spidey swing through New York.
Zendaya and Tom Holland are definitely comfortable getting cozy considering all the major swinging stunts they've had to do together. The on- and off-screen power couple have some major jumps together in Spider-Man 3. While filming, the two were recorded performing a very impressive high swing in a field. When the actors were shooting Spider-Man Far From Home, one of the biggest stunts they did together was a sort of Spidey swing through downtown New York City. Zendaya and Holland were lifted over 100 feet in the air and then performed the enormous swing over a huge pile of empty boxes. Why, we're not too sure, and Zendaya herself is a bit confused by the process, but says it works anyway.
There's like these empty boxes stacked together, and I was like...
This is a pretty big stunt to do for any performer, much less an actor who doesn't specialize in stunts. Although after this and all the other times she's shown off her stunt skills on screen, we think she's pretty well versed in it all. In an interview with Stephen Colbert, Zendaya said that the experience was amazing and she was really proud of herself for doing it.
It was a big swing.
Yeah, that's something we can all agree on. While the experience was intense and exhilarating, it turns out it was all for nothing. The footage they shot didn't end up being used for the film, and instead, the actors actually had to reshoot the whole thing. It might have been a better situation if they got rigged up again and did the stunt, but instead, the actors were held up with wires, but about 98 feet lower than they were the first time. Yep, the performers did the impressive giant stunt swing only 2 feet above the ground, while according to Zendaya, the director said,
"Okay, scream!"
and then would pull the actors' arms, swinging their bodies, and shockingly, that footage worked even better. It looks great in the movie, and Holland and Zendaya definitely pull off acting like they're flying through the air. Chances are experiencing the real thing probably helped them with that. It seems terrifying, but according to Zendaya herself,
it's super fun.
Zendaya isn't just an amazing actor. She's also a surprisingly good trapeze artist. When the actress was playing Ann Wheeler in The Greatest Showman, she performed most of her own incredible stunts. The actress once said that she'd never thought she'd do any kind of acrobatic work before in her life, so this role was a quite literal leap. Before filming even began, the then 21-year-old Zendaya received a phone call from director Michael Gracie, telling her to start building up her strength and working out since he wanted her to begin her trapeze lessons soon.
Started, building upper body strength, which I don't have and have not maintained either.
Not only did he want Zendaya to be proficient enough to be convincing on screen in the role, Gracie told Zendaya he wanted to use the stunt double as little as possible when filming.
It was a lot of training, a lot of just literally getting up there and just going for it.
The entire cast actually rehearsed similarly to the way a Broadway production cast would, so the work began way before filming even started. Zendaya's early days were spent training, but eventually she dove right into the work from the deep end to see what she was able to pull off on the trapeze. As it turns out, she was capable of a lot. One time in particular tested Zendaya's nerves. She'd come to set ready to do a big trapeze stunt, and when she arrived, she got a bit of a shock. The rig she was going to be on was about 20 feet higher than she thought it was going to be. To make things even worse, there wasn't even a net underneath.
That's a lot to get over.
That's right. The actress was going to perform a tricky trapeze stunt for real, and it wasn't going to be as easy as diving into all of her training beforehand. While Zendaya knew she'd be rigged up and extremely safe, she hadn't been so prepared for it to feel so intense. However, just in the nick of time, Hugh Jackman came to the rescue. Zendaya shared that behind the scenes, Jackman came over to her while she was on set, ready to go up in the cherry picker, and told her that she was a badass. Turns out that was all the help she needed.
And I was like, take me up.
After being called that by the Hugh Jackman, Zendaya felt like she could do absolutely anything, so she eagerly went up in the cherry picker to take her place at the top of the circus tent, ready to dazzle and impress. She wound up loving it in the end and was really grateful that she got to do it for the role, since it's not really a discipline she would have picked up otherwise.
I never thought that I would be doing any type of acrobatic trapeze work in my life.
It wasn't all magical aerial tricks and confidence boosters from Hugh Jackman, though. Zendaya and Zac Efron had more than a few mishaps together behind the scenes. We know it's hard to believe considering how elegant and romantic they look together on screen, but sometimes they really missed the mark. Zendaya and Efron were practicing one of the aerial tricks they performed together. You know the one, the iconic swinging around the ring scene. As we can see in the movie, they gracefully grab onto each other, but when rehearsing, instead of the elegant trick, they missed their marks, and the two of their bodies wound up just awkwardly swinging into each other and totally stopping the motion. The result was two deadweight bodies hanging limply instead of romantic circus magic.
And that's just one of the many.
This particular trick definitely took a lot of practice, but considering the final product, we'd say it was worth it. The pair actually did multiple takes of a number of their scenes. According to Zendaya herself, they would often ask to do more takes after the rest of the team was happy because they wanted it to look perfect. And if there was any chance of improving what they'd done, they wanted a chance to shine again. Luckily, Zendaya was acting opposite Zac Efron, who adored working with her.
She's just incredible.
The two were always checking in on each other and making sure the other was taken care of. Pretty much a dream working relationship. Their chemistry is off the charts, and probably because of how much of a team they became. Zendaya described them as strapped together, figuratively and literally. In order to perform all of their risky stunts, Zendaya explained that there had to be a certain amount of trust and connection, both of which definitely shine through on screen. These roles were absolutely hard on their bodies. Zendaya once said that she got a lot of bruises and was constantly sore, but it was totally worth it. Her love for the experience is pretty obvious, especially considering the fact that even when she wasn't filming, the actress could often be seen hanging around on set watching what was happening because she enjoyed being there so much.
It literally plays to everything that I love.
There was a lot of action in Euphoria, but no doubt one of the most interesting and mind-bending was the rotating room scene. For Zendaya, while she agreed it was cool, it was really intense, and she explained it was a very disorienting process. The actress was very much experiencing the wild journey her character Rue was on in real time.
You have no sense of where the real world is.
While it wasn't an easy experience to shoot for her, Zendaya was also feeling lucky not to be the people at the party who were literally strapped down in place and rotating with the whole room. The contraption had actually been built and made to rotate while Zendaya walked straight through. Behind the scenes, she empathized with what she imagined was a very intense head rush for the rest of them.
I did not envy those people.
We already loved Zendaya, but seeing just how much work she does and how many skills she's developed to pull off these feats while performing each of her roles is beyond impressive. Her commitment to the craft shows, and it definitely adds to the character she builds and portrays. Would you try any of these stunts?